Welcome to the December 30th, 2022 Parma City School District Board of Education meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Nucio.
Mrs. Bratz.
Present.
Mrs. Carpus. Mr. Price.
Present.
Mr. Ruda.
Present.
Mr. Vaughn.
Present. Unless there's an objection, we'll dispense with the reading of the special meeting notice, All right, so we're going to do that. So, Dr. Smalley, can you please confirm that the public portion of this meeting is currently being live streamed?
They're all set, and we thank them for coming in for this meeting on December 30th.
Can you please monitor the live streaming throughout the public portion of this meeting? If there is a problem, please speak up immediately so that the technical difficulty can be addressed.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys for coming in. So this brings us to finance, Mr. Price.
Yes, I'd like to have discussion to preserve the possibility of going to the ballot in May of 2023.
Okay. So, Dr. Smilek, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we obviously have talked about having a work session in January, which we have planned for the 12th, to lay out some of the options that we have going forward in terms of looking at a bond issue, looking at possible substitute, looking at potential new money, and those are obviously three very significant variables that we need at least one work session to work through. If we are to go forward with a bond issue or any type of issue for the May ballot, we need to file paperwork with the county by February 2nd, by February 1st, I should say, so there's some time. However, the bond issue, because we're borrowing such a large amount of money, not just raising it like a levy does, has some different paperwork that you have to file in advance of that February 1st deadline. In fact, the deadline is January 2nd. Mr. Maniloff worked literally tirelessly to really see if we actually needed to do this, and that was communication with the Ohio Department of Education and communication with the Ohio Department of Taxation, and just was not able to get them to say you don't need to do this consensus resolution again. There's a couple different schools of thought on this. One school of thought was that we wouldn't have to go through sort of these hoops, because essentially the question would be the same that we'd be asking in May that we asked in November. However, there is some different terminology that's come into play with House Bill 140 in terms of how you need to ask for money in terms of the bond issue and show taxpayers how much it's going to cost. There's also a question of, would tweaking up the millage a little bit to accommodate for increased interest rates and increased construction costs, would that be a different question? So he was not able to get in writing that we didn't need to take this step. So Mr. Maniloff's advice was to say, if we are going to go forward, we absolutely need this in place. If we decide not to go forward with the bond issue, no harm, no foul. But we certainly cannot do it without bringing this forward. And obviously, we don't want to call an emergency board meeting over Christmas, but this has a January 2nd deadline for Mr. Nucio to file the appropriate paperwork.
So, Mr. Nucio, you're ready to file and we approve this today?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, sir. So that was my thing. So if we file it, then we don't need it. It doesn't matter. It's not.
Correct.
They're not going to slap our wrist and say, hey, you filed unnecessarily or something like
And
that.
we went through the same process in November. I recall, I believe it was in July, I think we did a resolution to, again, I remember saying the same things. It does not mean that we're absolutely going forward, but if we want to go forward, we have to have this step.
Right. So we have to have this done. Anyway, we look at it.
Correct.
Basically. Fine. Anybody else got something to say?
Yeah, also regarding the possibility that if we do go to the ballot in May, this doesn't tie us to doing exactly what we did before, right? It just says we can go to the ballot, but if we choose to make any adjustments, like millage, or, I don't know, put red bows on the new high school or something, whatever changes we would choose to do, we're able to still make those adjustments.
We were clear with Mr. Maniloff in our discussions, Mr. Nucio and I, that we may have to look at increased millage. We mentioned interest rates. We didn't talk about the red bows, but certainly that can be a consideration for the board.
Good touch, though.
This is the first ridiculous thing that I thought of, being Christmas.
I thought you were going to go Dome Stadium, because that's all the talk right now.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
no, stadium.
No, I
Do you have anything?
just clarifying, this does not tie us to going to the ballot, right? This is
Right.
just for you to be able, in case we decide to.
It's just a procedural.
Just want to make that clear for the public. Thanks.
We would not sneak that through on December 30th.
That's-
Absolutely not, no.
That's, I know it, I just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
no, absolutely.
It's on.
Good to
forever.
clarify.
Now, does this apply to any other issue that we would put on the ballot in May if we chose not to do the,
No.
So this is just for the bond issue.
this is just the bond
It's
issue?
just because of the borrowing money question.
Yeah. I'm
We
good
still
with
have
that.
till the beginning of February to do anything else that we might choose to do.
Excellent. All right, guys, very good comments. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-12-475, a resolution authorizing the preparation and filing of materials in connection with applications for consents pursuant to Section 133.06C of the revised code.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2022-12-475. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Kreis.
Yes.
Mr. Ruda.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes, resolution 2022-12-475 has been approved. Thank you, Mr. Nucio, for getting this stuff organized and ready to roll.
Yes.
And that brings us to our next resolution, which is, I move to adopt resolution 2022-12-476.
Second?
Second?
To adjourn this, let
Oh,
me
did you?
finish.
Yeah.
I gotta finish. I didn't even finish the statement.
Oh, everybody wants to go home.
It's December 30th, people are ready.
Everybody wants to go home.
To adjourn to this meeting.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2022-12-476. Roll call, Ms. Nucio.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Kreis.
Yes.
Mr. Ruda.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming in.